Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of What If. Now, in this particular episode, it is literally, what if the Avengers were killed? And it's not an exaggeration. As always, I'm going to talk about the episode, and then I'm going to see, with this one, I'm going to be a little different. So for this series, I'm going to talk about the actual episode, and then where I think it would have changed further in the MCU. So the episode starts off with this takes place in Iron Man 2, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk. It'll all make sense in a minute. In Iron Man 2, we are at the scene where Tony Stark just had his drunk escapade and now he's eating a donut inside of a donut. Um, Nick Fury calls him down, starts talking with him. This is where Black Widow injects him with the thing to kind of relieve the pressure off of his body because of the virus that's in him from the heart plate, chest plate. And what happened was she injects him and he dies. So Black Widow is accused of murder because she was the only one that touched the device, and so they automatically assume that she killed him. Next on the list was we're at Thor's episode, Thor's movie, where Thor's about to go grab his hammer. So Coulson's there along with Nick Fury and Hawkeye. So they all start going around and they know the guy who's attacking. And Coulson, and they add a little comedy to it. You know, Coulson basically says he's a gorgeous man. And Clint has aim on the target. Nick Fury tells him to hold it. His hand lets go for some reason, and the arrow goes through and kills Thor. Hawkeye is then arrested because he disobeyed orders and he killed a man. While this is going on, Black Widow is being taken into custody, and Nick Fury gives her the device, and he basically claims to her, "You got to find out what's going on because I can't do it because I'm in S.H.I.E.L.D." So in the van, she takes out everybody, beats them up, and she escapes. She goes to deal with, she goes to find who actually killed Tony Stark. While this is going on, um, Hawkeye's in prison and he dies. Nobody's quite sure how. Nobody went in or out, so they're not quite positive exactly what happened. So now we're in The Incredible Hulk. The scene where Bruce Banner meets back with Betty Ross at the school right before General Ross goes on the offense, goes and tries to kill. Well, we all know he can't kill the Hulk. So, more like he tries to capture the Hulk. But anyway, I digress. Black Widow tries to talk to Betty Ross to get an idea of what happened to the serum. You know, obviously something bad happened because Tony's dead. So Betty Ross goes through the entire thing and she says there's nothing lethal about it. There's technically no problem. Clearly, he must have been something happened to the tip where it was destroyed, and she claims something must have hit it. And so Black Widow's asking her, well, what do you think did it? And she's kind of being very standoffish. So she's very, very much like, well, I don't know. You know, I'm not a ballistics expert. And while this is going on, Loki and the entire Asgardian army comes in to avenge Thor's death. Nick Fury's dealing with that. So the two of them are talking, specifically Nick Fury and Black Widow, and they're talking about their issues. This is when she finds out that Bruce Banner is hiding in the closet, and they're going to escape, and that's when General Ross comes in, and she calls for backup, and he goes, he's got his own problems. He's got a bunch of Vikings, space Vikings, attacking him. So anyway, they're having this conversation, and it doesn't go well. Um, Somebody opens fire on Bruce. Bruce gets shot. He turns into the Hulk. He starts destroying everything. And then out of nowhere, the Hulk keeps expanding until he explodes. He explodes. So nobody's quite sure what happened. And Nick Fury and Loki have a conversation, and Loki gives him the opportunity. He gives him, I believe, 12 hours to find the actual killer. While this is going on, um, what's her name? Black Widow is now trying to get into the servers for a shield to find out who else is in the Avengers program because they want to know more about what's happening. So anyway, she's going through that and she realizes somebody's in the room with her. She turns around, she makes a phone call, she leaves a voicemail on Nick Fury's phone while she's getting beat up, saying it's Hope. It has to do with Hope. Now, for those of you who don't know, Hope is the name of Ant-Man's daughter. So automatically, my mind went to Ant-Man's daughter is killing everybody. Well, anyway, Black Widow does. And Nick Fury listens to the voicemail and he realizes what's going on. So he goes to talk with Loki to make a deal, and we don't know what happens. And then he goes to Hope's grave. So Hope's dead. And that's when we see Hank Pym, the Ant-Man, in the yellow jacket outfit, ready to fight Nick Fury. And Nick Fury is kicking Ant-Man's ass. I mean, beating him down. Oh, and then we find out it wasn't Nick Fury to begin with. It was Loki using a spell to make him look like Nick Fury. And we find out that Hank Pym killed them all. And we find out how he killed them all. So Hank Pym shot a poison from his tentacles or appendages on Tony Stark to kill him. He smacked Hawkeye's hand to shoot the arrow that killed Thor. He then went inside Hawkeye's brain and I imagine killed him from the inside. For Hulk, he went inside the Hulk through the bullet wound and threw a device on it that enlarged the Hulk's heart so much that he exploded. And then we know how he killed Black Widow by basically punching her to death. Hank Pym gets taken into custody by the Asgardians, and we find out that Hope died in a SHIELD mission, and that's why Hank Pym went on the crazy assault. Well, the next day, Loki stays and takes over the entire planet. So Nick Fury starts to try to grab all the other what's left of the Avengers, where he finds Steve Rogers, who's in the ice, and Captain America comes back. So that's how the episode ends. And here's what I think happens after. Now, obviously, we don't know for a fact what happens, but I'd be curious to find out. So I imagine that what happens is we have Captain America and Captain Marvel, along with what's left of S.H.I.E.L.D., fighting Loki. And I believe they win. With the powerhouse of, what's her name? Captain Marvel, she would have defeated the Asgardians without a problem. So where that leads is that means Avengers 1 does not happen. I mean, technically, that would be Avengers 1, I guess. It would be just Captain America and Captain Marvel. But it wouldn't be the Mind Stone or anything like that. So none of the Infinity Stones make it onto Earth like originally planned. So the Tesseract doesn't show up, nor does the Mind Stone. So that causes a problem. So I mean, Vision doesn't exist. Ultron doesn't exist. I would imagine Ant-Man never comes to fruition. Um, what else? What else? War Machine. Oh, War Machine could still exist because the suit does exist. So War Machine would still exist. Falcon would still exist. I'm trying to think of who else. Um, Thor would be dead. Spider-Man potentially might not exist because Iron Man doesn't exist anymore. I'm trying to think of what else. Winter Soldier would become a problem because he doesn't have the team anymore. The Civil War wouldn't have happened because that means Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch wouldn't have existed because the Mind Stone never made it on Earth. Yeah, so a lot would have changed. Avengers 2 would never have happened. Avengers 3 probably would have happened, but it would have been completely different. Yeah, because Peter Quill and all them would still have existed. Doctor Strange, I would imagine still existed, but it depends on what happens in in the timeline else that would have happened. So yeah, so the Avengers would have consisted. So when Thanos would have come, who would have been left of the Avengers would have been Captain America, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Falcon, War Machine, potentially Spider-Man, potentially. I'm gonna go with a potentially. Oh, stupid me. Black Panther would still exist. Yeah, I think that. But Black Panther would have been different because T'Challa would not have been the leader because his dad wouldn't have been killed. Yeah, his dad wouldn't have been killed because the Avengers would not have existed in the way they would have. So I doubt Zemo would have, because Zemo only killed T'Challa's father because of the incidents in Sokovia, which was in Avengers 2. So yeah, that would have been a weird situation. So I would very much like to see. I'd like sequels of like more extended on what would happen. Again, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Am I on the right track? Or was I completely wrong? Or do you guys have a better and more plausible explanation on what would have happened, um, given the fact that everyone was killed? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is Beastly Eel signing out. Have a good night.